Let's talk about the two forces that separate those who dream from those who do. Not talent, not luck, not even motivation. I'm talking about consistency and discipline, the two things that most people run from, while the few who rise choose to embrace. See, everyone loves the idea of greatness. Everybody wants success, wants power, wants freedom, wants that next level. But wanting it is easy. What's hard? Waking up every day and doing what needs to be done even when you don't feel like it. That's discipline, that's consistency, that's where winners are built. There's nothing sexy about discipline. There's nothing glamorous about doing the same thing over and over again while nobody's watching. You think you're going to feel motivated every morning. You won't. You think the grind gets easier. It doesn't, but that's the test. That's the separation. While everyone else is making excuses, the disciplined are making progress. Consistency is how you build momentum. You don't level up by going hard one day and falling off the next. It's not about how loud you start. It's about how long you last. Can you keep showing up when the lights are off, the crowd is gone, and it's just you and the grind? That's the question. Because results don't come from what you do occasionally. They come from what you do repeatedly. And listen, you don't need to be perfect. You just need to be committed, even when it's boring. Even when it's slow. Even when your mind says, skip today. Because discipline says, do it anyway. Discipline doesn't ask how you feel. It tells you what needs to be done and expects you to rise to it. The truth is, most people fail not because they lack potential, but because they lack patience. They quit too soon. They look for shortcuts. But the greats, they stay in the fire. They trust the process. They understand that consistency and discipline are the twin engines that carry you through every obstacle, every setback, every storm. So if you're tired of starting over, stop giving up. If you want different results, create different habits. You don't need more time. You need more focus, more grit, more reps, because in the end, it's not the most gifted who win. It's the ones who don't quit, lock in, show up, do the work. Discipline is the foundation that holds everything together when motivation disappears. And make no mistake, it will disappear. Motivation is fleeting. It comes in waves, usually when things are exciting or new, or when a fresh goal gets you fired up. But what happens when that excitement fades? What happens when the early fire turns to ash and all you're left with is the work? That's where discipline steps in. Discipline is the part of you that doesn't care how you feel. It only cares about what needs to be done. It doesn't ask for your permission. It doesn't wait until you're inspired. Discipline says, let's go, even when every part of you wants to slow down or stop. People often mistake discipline for something harsh or restrictive, but it's actually one of the purest forms of self-respect. When you're disciplined, you're telling yourself that your goals matter enough to fight for, that your time matters enough not to waste, that your word to yourself is something you honor, even when no one's looking. You don't need someone standing over your shoulder. You don't need applause. You just need a commitment and the strength to follow through with it. The biggest lie we tell ourselves is that we'll do it later. That we'll feel more motivated tomorrow, but you know how many tomorrows never come, how many dreams die waiting for the perfect moment. The truth is, the moment is never perfect. You won't always be ready. You won't always feel like it, and that's why discipline is everything. Discipline is what carries you through the days when your energy is low, your confidence is shaken, or the results just aren't showing yet. It's what keeps your feet moving when your mind is trying to talk you out of it. It's easy to work hard when everything's going well, but real growth happens when you keep pushing through discomfort. When you keep going when the finish line is nowhere in sight. That's the kind of work that molds champions. That's the kind of effort that builds something real, something unshakable. Discipline is a decision you make daily, sometimes hourly. It's choosing the harder right over the easier wrong. It's sacrificing momentary comfort for long-term gain, and it doesn't make life easier, but it makes you stronger. It makes you sharper. It turns you into the kind of person who doesn't fold under pressure but rises through it. So the next time your motivation runs dry, and it will lean into your discipline, train your mind to show up no matter what. Because in the end, it's not about how loud you start. It's about how long you last. Discipline will keep you standing when motivation walks away. Discipline will take you further than talent ever could. And discipline, when practiced long enough, becomes your superpower. Consistency is the silent force behind every lasting success. It's not glamorous, it's not exciting, but it's the difference between almost making it and actually arriving. Too many people think that success is about big moments, the huge wins, the overnight changes, the sudden breakthroughs, but those moments, they're rare. What truly shapes you is what you do every single day, especially when nothing is happening, when no one is watching, and when results seem distant. Consistency is where habits are formed, skills are sharpened, and transformation begins. It doesn't matter how hard you go one day if you disappear for the next 5. Real growth is the result of deliberate, repeated action over time. One workout doesn't make you fit. One productive day doesn't make you successful. One act of discipline doesn't create a legacy. It's the repeated, intentional, often unnoticed efforts that build momentum, and once momentum starts working in your favor, everything changes. It's like compound interests. Small actions, repeated daily, create exponential results over time. But the only way you get there is by showing up, not once, not sometimes, but consistently. Consistency is what turns a decision into a lifestyle. It rewires your identity. When you consistently act with purpose, you begin to see yourself differently, not as someone trying, but as someone becoming. You start believing in the process, even when you don't see immediate results, and that belief keeps you moving forward when others give up, because here's the hard truth: most people won't stay consistent. They'll start strong, and when the emotions wear off, they'll start looking for something new, something easier. But if you can outlast that phase, if you can stay locked in, you'll separate yourself from 99% of the crowd. Staying consistent also teaches you patience. It reminds you that mastery takes time. You begin to realize that you're not in this for a quick fix. You're in it for the long haul. And in that space, you start to develop trust in yourself. Not just confidence, but trust. The kind of trust that says, no matter what happens, I know I will keep going. That trust becomes the bedrock of everything you build, because you're no longer dependent on outside validation or short-term results. You become anchored in your own process. There will be days when the progress feels invisible, days when it feels like nothing is changing, but those are the most important days, the days that test your commitment, the days that define your path. Because if you can stay consistent through boredom, through doubt, through setbacks, you're becoming unstoppable. Every rep, every hour, every step, no matter how small, is a vote for the future you, and the more votes you cast, the more inevitable your success becomes. So stop waiting for the perfect moment, stop chasing highs, start mastering the basics, and do it again tomorrow and the day after that, because the life you want isn't built in a single day, it's built daily. Through consistency, through effort, through showing up over and over again. Most people don't fail because they aren't talented enough. They fail because they don't stick around long enough. They give up. They walk away when things get hard, when results take time, when life punches them in the mouth. But the truth is, success is a long game, and the ones who win aren't always the smartest or the strongest. They're the ones who refuse to quit. They're the ones who have the patience to keep going and the grit to keep fighting even when nothing is working in their favor. We live in a world addicted to speed. Everyone wants quick results, instant rewards, and fast progress. But greatness doesn't work like that. Growth takes time, mastery takes time, building something that lasts takes time, and most people don't have the patience to endure that process. They want the trophy without the sweat. The breakthrough without the breakdown, but it doesn't work that way. The journey will test you, it will stretch you, it will demand more from you than you thought you had, and if you're not ready to endure, to struggle, to keep walking through the storm, you'll never make it to the other side. Grit is what keeps you moving when everything else tells you to stop. It's that fire in your chest that says, I'm not done yet, even when your body is exhausted and your mind is screaming for relief. Grit is built in the moments when it would be easier to quit, when no one would blame you for walking away. But you choose to stay in the fight, and every time you do, you grow. You get stronger, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Grit is forged in failure, in rejection, in disappointment. and it becomes the weapon you carry through every challenge that lies ahead. And then there's patience, the quiet strength that keeps you grounded. It's easy to feel strong when things are going your way, but patience is what keeps you from unraveling when they don't. It's what helps you zoom out and see the bigger picture when your emotions are screaming at you to give up. Patience helps you trust the process, to understand that things take time, not because you're not worthy, but because the journey is shaping you. It's preparing you to handle the weight of your goals. If it came too easy, it wouldn't last, and if you got it too soon, you wouldn't be ready to hold it. So yes, there will be obstacles. Yes, there will be slow seasons, but if you've got patience and grit, you can outlast them. You can keep building brick by brick until your vision becomes reality. Most people tap out too early. Don't be most people. Be the one who stays. Be the one who endures. Be the one who gets back up every time they fall. Because if you can be patient, if you can be relentless, if you can keep showing up when it's hard, you become unstoppable. And that's when the world starts to notice. That's when your breakthrough finally comes.